Hey everybody, I'm Leon Thomas with NRG President and CEO Mike Weiner. You're here for NRG this week. Hey Mike, how you doing?
I am doing groovy. Guess where I learned that word? How are you doing, Leon?
You learned it from the tall short guy, the bald
The
headed guy
tall,
with
short
long
guy, one of
hair.
my best friends from just I've known for a minute, Leon Thomas, the one, the only. I am
Right.
doing groovy. How are you doing, Leon?
Everything is groovy and right on. I was in attended a meeting earlier today and someone said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I said, "Oh, that's pretty groovy." Right? And people looked around because I was with a bunch of youngsters, right? And I don't mean like teenagers, but I mean youngsters. I'm talking those from like I think they were probably say 27 to 40, the group I was with. They're like, "Groovy?" And I said, "Yeah, yeah." And they came up with another idea, and I said, "Yeah, right on. Right on. Let's do it. Right on." They're like I said, "I'm sorry. Sometimes I use hippie phrases or like, what's a hippie?" I'm like, never mind. I gotta go. See you later. See you later. Bye. So that's a story. Mike, a lot of good things happen. Let's talk about NRG. But first, here's what I want to make sure everyone knows how to get in touch with you and how they can learn more about network referral groups. So you can contact Mike Weiner and his email. Mike's email is Mike at networkreferralgroup.com. That's Mike at NETWORKREFERRAL group.com. And you can also send Mike a text or a phone call. His phone number is 443 756 9656. That's how you can get in touch with Mike to learn more about the absolute best business networking organization in the country. But it's more than networking, as Mike, you and I will talk about here in a second. Tell us, you had an event on last Friday where you talked about CRM. Tell me about that. Who was the speaker and what all went on then?
Yeah, great question. David Levine was highlighted on NRG this week, just a couple of weeks ago. He is in my Dallas, Texas NRG group. And he spoke this past Friday, right before Memorial Day weekend, talking about selecting the right CRMs. It was so informative. I took a page and a half of notes. And you know what? You've got to have the right CRM. How are you going to follow up? And David was just amazing talking about the CRM, and the folks that were there got quite a bit out of it. So I applaud David for his amazing description of what a CRM is. It's so much more than you think, and it helps keep an organization organized so that they can make the right follow-up calls at the right time to secure the right client. So it was a great event, Leon.
And you were talking about customer relations management software and applications that can be used. And Mike, you and I remember the old days where what we would do is put reminders on physical calendars, putting little raised stickies on Rolodexes. What else did you do to know when you had to follow up? What did you do back in the manual days?
One of the oldest things, and you probably remember, I'm trying to think of what it was called. It was like a box with index card, and you'd have between A and Z or 1 to 31 for the month. So we would use things like that, a Rolodex. Leon, I still use a hard calendar. My concern with putting things in a phone, if you lose the phone, you've lost everything. I've never lost a calendar since I've been doing this, since I was 23 years old selling thermal fax machines. I'm now 59, so you can do the math and figure it out. I've still always gone with a hard calendar. I keep staples in business because I go in and buy a calendar at the end of November, right before Thanksgiving, so I can get organized for the new year. But yeah, all kinds of things like that, random things like that. Tickler file, tickler. That's
Yeah.
call it, tickler file. I remember using that when I was selling thermal fax machines, and it just kept me organized. Today we're so sophisticated with a CRM, and there's so many different options. And
Yeah.
whatever you use, you've got to have a system. You just can't have papers on the refrigerator. Call Joe back on May 31st at 2:15 to see if he's ready to buy. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Now, you know what's interesting? You say that. I'm kind of a dinosaur that has evolved into some areas of technology, and there's some areas that I trust, and then there's others that I'm like, "Oh, no, no, no. This gets manual." So, for my calendar, as an example, right? I use Google Calendar. I can pull up my Google Calendar on anyone's computer by logging into my Google account. So if I lose my phone, I'm okay because I can still pull it up on the web. I'm good. And even to get a new phone, right? I lose this one, then I get a new one, right? So again, I lose this phone, and look at that magic. Where's Doug Roy when you need him? I get a new I get a new phone. I log into my Google account here in my calendars here. So I'm not concerned about calendar, but here's where I'm still manual. One is in taking notes. Everyone that works with the Leon Thomas Group, the company that produces NRG this week, you're required to have a spiral notebook. You've got to have it, right? Our producer Jay has one. Everybody that works with us, you have them, and you keep notes in here. And my task, I have task in Google, but I use it, but I never refer back to it. I look at this piece of paper here. So I need to evolve completely into that. But I'll get there. I'll get there. So let's talk about this now. We talked about, maybe that was something that folks at the end of 2023 said they were going to focus on, maybe using more technology. How's that going for you? Or if you said at the end of 2023, I'm going to improve this in 2024, I'm going to set a goal of 3 more sales calls a day. I'm going to set a goal of attending more networking events. I'm going to set a goal, whatever that is. For some people, it's doing less, right? I want to not work after 7 p.m. I want to not work on Saturdays, whatever. I wonder how our viewers and listeners, how they're doing with that. And Mike, what advice do you have now? We're coming up on, close to mid-year for folks that had those goals set and they're starting to evaluate them. What suggestions do you make on how to do that? And then we'll talk about some specific sales things here in a second.
I think we're almost into June, so we're almost halfway through the year. And what I would recommend you do is look back at those New Year's resolutions you made in December. What has worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? Because if things have not worked for you, it's not too late in 2024 to make a change. And if certain things are not working, make a change, adapt, everyone, I have a business coach. Everybody should have a business coach so they can walk you through. And that might be something, if you don't have a coach, to get a coach, interview different coaches. We have lots of coaches in NRG, Leon. But you need to look at what is working, it's not all about the ROI, but at the end of the day, you and I were talking before the show, you've got to produce revenue and grow your company and move it forward, or you're not going to have a company. And that's hard words, but it's important. You need to know, you've got to hold yourself accountable. You can't have other people accountable. You've got to be accountable to yourself. So I would say pull those goals out, whether you wrote them down or you put them in Google or a calendar or wherever. We were talking about that to piggyback on that. But look at your goals, figure out what's working, figure out what's not working, talk to a coach, come up with something new to catapult your business between now and the end of the year. I do that. I do that more on a monthly basis because I'm very goal oriented, combined with law of attraction. What I put out, I'm going to manifest, and I've seen, Leon, if I'm in a really good mood and I put out great stuff comes back. And if I'm not in a great mood, not so great stuff comes back. And I know there's people that do not believe in that. Well, you can believe in that. You can not believe in that while things are not going well, but try putting it out there over and over and really believing in it. And you can flip your attitude on a flip of a dime. If you're having a bad day, smile. There's people that get on my Zooms, Leon. I'm like, are you sucking on a sour pickle? I mean, you got to smile, smile. We're all here to help each other out and grow. And, I would definitely evaluate your goals. And if you don't have a coach, consider getting a coach. And if you need my advice on that, I can definitely help you with that.
Mhm. Yeah. When you think about the use of a coach, when you think about improvement, you think about attitude, right? You can still have a coach, but if your attitude's not right, you're probably not going to improve a lot, right? And you talked about those that show up with the sour grapes look. Has anyone ever looked at someone with a bad attitude or worked with someone at a bad attitude and said, you know, I just can't wait to work with them or do business with them. Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. I'm excited. Yeah. It just doesn't happen. You've got to have the right tude, right? About what you're doing, where you're going, how you're going to get there. People pick up on that. And the other thing, you don't know how it's gonna impact others' lives, right?
True.
You just don't
Yeah,
know
you and I
what's
talked a
going
couple
on.
of weeks ago when it was just you and I, Leon, about impact. Remember, we were talking about impact and how do you impact somebody else? I don't believe God put us here just to live in our own life and not affect other people. I believe God put us here to impact others, to empower others. And, one of the ways to get yourself in a good attitude, here's a tip from Mike Weiner, is before your feet hit the floor in the morning, have a gratitude journal. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Hey, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful for breakfast. And then at the end of the day, do the same thing. But the 3 things that you write down, they've got to be different things. Maybe you're grateful that you saw Mike and Leon on NRG this week. Maybe you're grateful you came to an NRG meeting. Maybe you're grateful for your significant other. But make it impactful. You got to impact yourself before you can impact others. And Leon, one of my skills is empowering people. I love to do that. I feel like a lot of times people are not appreciated, and if I can impact someone and put a smile, take a frown and make it a smile, I've changed their whole life. I've changed their whole demeanor. Their whole
Right.
attitude is going to be better, and I've impacted them at least for that day, and hopefully for a month, a year, a decade, a lifetime.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mike, let's do this. What we're gonna do, we'll take a quick break. Then when we come back from the break, right? When we come back, let's talk about sales. And specifically, one thing we want to talk about, kind of 2 things. We want to talk about the pick your brain people. And then we want to take that into the are you asking for the sale? Are you asking for the sale? I'm Leon Thomas. He's Mike Weiner, the president and CEO of Network Referral Group. To learn more about Network Referral Group, go to their website, NRG.Online. You can contact Mike directly. His phone number is 443 756 9656. And you can email him at mike@networkreferralgroup.com. You're watching NRG this week. We'll be right back.
Renting is everything. It's style at your doorstep, off the runway and into your closet. It's every trend you've been dying to try and every designer you've yet to discover. It's wearing it your way every time and making it count everywhere you go. It's never worrying about what to wear because something new is always coming your way. That's why renting is everything. New styles, top designers, all for a flat monthly fee. Start your subscription at renttherunway.com.
Slow roasted over hickory fire and pulled by hand. This is the way pit pork has always been done. Pulled pork lovers, rejoice. The smoky old days are back at the Smoke Shack. From the creative team that brought you the Browning Project and Dead by Morning comes a new thriller that will change the way you look at white-collar crime forever. Falling from the Sky.
Water. It's everywhere. We drink it, we bathe with it, we cook with it. Coffee's made with water. Toilets won't flush without it. It's used for washing clothes, dishes, utensils, pots, pans, floors, and our teeth. Plants and crops need water, animals drink it, and fish need it too. And don't forget, we can have a lot of fun in the water. Water. What would we do without it?
Hey everybody, welcome back to NRG This Week. I'm your host, Leon Thomas, here with co-host Mike Weiner, reminding you that NRG This Week is produced by the Leon Thomas Group. The commercials you just saw were all produced, and the voices are those that are a member of the Leon Thomas Group team. To learn more about us, go to theleonthomasgroup.com. And while you're there on the Leon Thomas Group website, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll come to a section that says what we support. And one of those is Racquetball Revival. There it is. Racquetball Revival. It's a youth racquetball program that we run in Baltimore. Mike, starting next Saturday, we'll be up to 71, count them, 71 kids in our racquetball program. Next Saturday, we will grow by 3. To learn more about Racquetball Revival, go to racquetballrevival.com. And Mike, that kind of brings me to one of the other next points we want to talk about is asking for the sale. And that event that I told you about where I was telling folks, yeah, that's a groovy idea. Yeah, right on. It was actually related to fundraising. And one of the things they talked about in fundraising is you have to ask for the donation. You have to ask. And so I'm asking everyone that's listening now, go to Racquetball Revival and make a donation to our program to help support what we're doing to help kids in the Baltimore area. Now, Mike, one of the things you and I talked about before the show is some ways that folks can increase their sales, some basics that are being missed. And one of those is many folks that are experts in what they do become pick the brain people. They become the brain where people say, let me call you and pick your brain. Let me call you and pick your brain. They're asking for advice, right? And to some extent, you want to be able to do some of that, but eventually you've got to ask for the business, right?
Right.
You've got to ask for the business. So first, why do you think that some folks don't ask for the business? And secondly, what's the best way to throw that question in? Are we going to do business together to throw the ask for the sale in? What's the best way to do that?
Leanne, when I was doing copier and fax sales back in the 80s, we went through Sandler training, and they said if you're only giving advice and never asking for the order, you're an unpaid consultant. And it's important to be able to give information. I think one of the reasons people don't ask for the sale is they're scared of rejection. They're scared of the word no. And the interesting thing is in most sales cycles, it could take anywhere from 6 to 9 or more tries. So you have to ask for it multiple times. So if you're watching this, hey, make a donation to Racquetball Revival. See, Leon asked for it smoothly. I've just asked for it. It will help those 71 kids that Leon is working with, and they put the website right below, so it increases the chance of someone making a sale. But I think people are scared, Leon, and there's all kind of trial closes that you can do. With my NRG membership, there's sometimes where I'm talking to someone and I'll just do it very casual. Like, so if you like the NRG meeting and you're comfortable with it and you're going to get 3 referrals anyway, is there any reason you would not move forward and join? So you're isolating the objection. Is there any reason you wouldn't move forward and join? That can be done with any product. It can be payroll, it can be copiers, it can be anything. But if you learn how to do this in multiple ways, it's got to be very low key. It just flows. Watch your inflection in the voice that you don't become anxious when you ask. It's just got to roll with it. And these things take practice. I've been in outside sales or my own business now for decades, and things just roll. They become comfortable. You read positive books, you associate with positive people. You watch NRG This Week. It's always positive with Mike and Leon. You surround yourself with the elements so that when you're asking for it, it's just natural. And you're selling 3 things, Leon: the product or service, the company, and yourself. And if someone is not comfortable with one of those 3 things, if there is, quote, a chink in the armor in one of those 3, that's where people do not ask for the sale. And I always tell people, if you're not comfortable with the company, either talk to the owner. If you are the owner, then you got to make changes. If it's the product or service, change that up or get a better product or service. And if it's you, then invest in self-development. I know a lot of the motivational speakers say you should be investing in tools, in clothing to make yourself better. I call these Zoom shirts now. Suit and tie is not as big as it was before COVID. Things have really changed in that arena, but there's ways to ask for the sale. You can always come to me. I've done this for a long time. If I can sell copiers, you can sell whatever you're selling. Copiers is one of the most difficult items to sell because it's so competitive. I would sell Rico and there'd be other Rico companies, or there would be Gastetner or Lanier, which was the same as Rico, but branded under a different name. So, I think you've got to ask for the sale. If not, you're going to be out of business. And that's the hard, cruel reality of it, Leon. And NRG, we do workshops on that. One of my favorite ones is closing the sale. And I'd be happy to share that with different folks.
And that's first, one of the things that's uniquely different about Network Referral Group is the other pieces, the other things that you offer members, like sales training, right? That's something that the other organizations that I'm aware of are not, but NRG does, and so it's more than just show up, exchange leads. Okay, so folks, you got to check out Network Referral Group. Go to NRG.online. Give Mike a call, Mike Weiner a call. His phone number is 443-756-9656. Okay, let's take care of that. Now, here's the other thing. When it comes to that asking for the sale, you mentioned that there has to be a confidence in the company, the product or service, or the person. And as you look at that first from the client perspective, right? When you ask that question of, is there any reason that you wouldn't do business with us, or any reason, the kind of the trial close, you have to listen carefully to what you're getting there, right? Are they talking about the company? Are they talking about questions about the product? Are you talking about you, right? But also, I think on the sales side of it, we have to evaluate what is it about our company that I'm not presenting well? What is it about our product or service that I'm missing? Or is it me? Do I need to have someone else do the selling? Maybe, right? We need to you
Right.
need to
Yeah.
look at those things, right? But the
Yeah.
other thing, if you think about that, if one person is doing the product, if one person is doing the same person is doing the selling, you're probably missing something on the company side, right? The one person is trying to do too much. But back to growing the sales, you gotta ask, why would someone sell something, a product or service that they're not confident in and not being willing to say to everybody, you wanna buy? You wanna buy? You wanna buy? You wanna buy? I remember my first job in hotels, Mike. I'm pumping gas and I'm telling people to get a hotel room, right? It's negative 15
Exactly.
degrees in Pittsburgh, and I'm trying to sell hotel rooms, and I'm going, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Leon from the hotel right across the street there. You need a room like this weekend. I got a bunch of rooms available. What are you doing this weekend? What? You can eat here, you can eat at that restaurant over there and stay at our hotel. What do you think? Want me to book your room?" But for whatever reason, we get out of that confidence mode. So I don't know. That's my take on it. But folks, ask for the sale. And you mentioned time
Leon,
frames too.
when you were talking about 15 degrees, I just had a flashback. I was working for Advanced Business Systems in the late 80s, early 90s. It was so cold out. There was ice on the ground. It must have been like 5 degrees, wind chill 15. I was cold calling in downtown Baltimore. And I remember walking in, and the receptionist was like, "I can't believe you're out." And I'm like, "Well, I got a great product. And I'm here to help you." She went and got me coffee. She went and got me a Danish. And you know what? You can kind of work on, people's human nature. They want to help you. Because I would always ask, maybe you can help me out. And it was just amazing. And you got to have that confidence 100% on your product, product, service, company, and yourself. People will read through that if you're not confident. And you got to work on that. And I think the most importantly on is yourself, because you can always change the company, you can always change the product, you can always change the service. If you can only work on one thing tonight, work on yourself. That's the most important, because everything else is transferable. I sold for different copier companies. I sold different products, but the consistent was me. And people, in one other thing, figure out what's proprietary about your product or service or your company or you. Leon, you remember David Letterman, top 10 reasons? I would do top 10 reasons why to buy a fax machine from Mike Weiner. And I would hand it to every single one. Every single one. And I said, "Hey, you've probably seen David Letterman. Well, here's 10 reasons why you want to work with Mike Weiner." People loved it. They ate it up. We talked about Carson and Letterman and whatever, and make it funny. People love humor. Make it funny. Leon, that's one of the reasons you and I have been friends. You are, beside being one of the nicest guys, you are funny as heck. You are super funny. You make me laugh all the time. And you and I have got a very unique friendship that goes back a minute and a half, right? We don't want to tell everybody how many years, but a minute and a half. But figure out your proprietary feature, deliver it with some oomph, some energy, some charisma, and you know what? Ask for the order. And you know what? Some people would say, "Hey, you're asking for a lot." Well, that's my conviction. If you were me, what would you do different? And they couldn't come up with an answer, Leon. I'd flip it to them. They try to say, "Well, you're in sales." I'm in sales and I'm proud of it. Sales is what makes money go around. It keeps the commerce going. And yeah, I would directly address that. I would never shimmer or shake when someone says, "Oh, you're in sales." Exactly. And I'm super proud of it.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. I like it. Great, great, great ideas, Mike. Great ideas. And
Thank you.
one other area of sales that I think we should talk about here in the next couple minutes that we have left is the importance of of having contacts that could help reinforce the sale or that could be complementary businesses. So let me give you an example. So when I sold hotel rooms, right? I'm there as the director of sales at the physical building. Folks would come in and say, I need rooms for our wedding. So you get the bride and groom coming in, and the first thing they tell you, they're going to have 500 people at their wedding. And inside, I'd go, 500 people ain't coming to your wedding. But anyway, let's go with 500 people, right? I'd play along with that. And I go, how many rooms you're going to need? Then I'd ask a question like this: who's your florist? Oh, we haven't identified someone yet. Okay. I have I know a florist. I can put you in touch with them, right? So now I became almost like the unofficial wedding planner because I could connect you with the florist. You don't have a reception hall. If I had it at our place, we could do it. Or you needed transportation because you had a lot of people coming in. You wanted to give them some sightseeing tour, whatever. I was the guy that could connect you to all of that. And so because then I became like the one-stop shop, I can connect you to these people, that wedding group, that athletic team, or whatever the event was, would buy from me because I offered more than just the room, right? And so I think about so many businesses and how they need to have those partners, right? Like those power partners, like you talk about it at NRG meetings all the time. Who are your power partners? Who can refer business to you, right? That you need to have relationships with. And I find many people that just don't have a power partner, right? The I know a guy, I know a gal that they could send folks to. And so I think that's important too.
Leon, when you were doing that and you were saying, do you have a florist? You were providing value. So they looked at you as, oh my God, this guy, if he knows a florist, I bet they came back to you and said, hey, we need a photographer. We need a wedding cake planner or whatever. So, you just provided value. And I don't think a lot of people understand the value of having those power partners. And, because what I would do is once I sold that copier, fax machine, or whatever, I'd say, is there anything else that you would need? I always was like that, even before NRG. So you always want to provide tremendous value so that your client, if they're looking at other companies and they're not doing that, you've just differentiated yourself. You just gave them the proprietary reason why to do business with you.
Right. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So, Mike, thank you. A couple minutes ago, you said I was funny, and so I want to thank you for that. And I do like to make people laugh. So with that, at the end of the show, I want to ask you. I want to tell you a joke, then I want to ask you something. Okay. All right. Here we go. So way back when I was a teacher, way back when I was in an eighth grade classroom substituting, and I didn't know what to do with these kids. I'm sorry, I said eighth grade. These were 8-year olds, so that would make them third grade. I don't have a clue on what to do with these kids. So here's what I did. I said, we're going to have a spelling bee. Said, we're going to go around the room and I'm going to point to you and you tell me what you want to be. We go around the room, we get to a little girl. She says, I want to be a nurse. Nurse. She had to spell it, right? I go to the next kid. He says, I want to be a doctor. I said, great. How do you spell doctor? He says, Doctor. Go to the next kid. What do you want to be when you grow up? He says, I want to be an electrician. Everybody in my family is an electrician. My dad an electrician. My grandfather an electrician. My uncle's an electrician. My brother an electrician. Everybody's an electrician in my family. I want to be an electrician. I said, great. How do you spell electrician? He says Elles. No, try again. He goes Elest. Nope, that's not it. I tell you what, you're going to make a good electrician, though. I go to the next kid. What do you want to be when you grow up? He says, I want to be a bookie. Bookie. And I bet you 5 to 1 he can't spell electrician.
Love it. That's
There you
awesome.
have it. And I picked up a new one just yesterday.
That was awesome.
Why did the watch? Why did the kid throw the watch out the window?
To see time fly?
Yes, you got it.
Oh my God. I had never heard that joke before, I swear. Wow.
You got it right on. Mike,
Wow.
always a pleasure catching up with you here on NRG this week. You bring a lot of
You too.
value to everyone who watches the show, to NRG members, and to those you are friends with, like me. You bring value to our
Thank you, Leo.
relationship and value to our friendship, and I appreciate it. I also want our producer, Dr. Jay Rasenko, to know I appreciate him and the value he brings to the Leon Thomas Group and also to our friendship, which has lasted a couple of minutes as well. Folks, this is NRG This Week. You can learn more by going to NRG.Online. You can contact Mike Weiner, CEO and president of Network Referral Group. His phone number is 443-756-9656. And his email address is mike@networkreferralgroup.com. Thanks for watching NRG This Week. Here we go.